Students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, and learners. Those who are watching, listening from the field of science, commerce, arts and engineering, the most honorable President Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, respected fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters. I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action, nice listening time. Dear friends, you know that our country, our nation is known as the nation of festivals. In this month of September, it is very important day from the Sharad point of view. Today is the first day of Navratra starting. Actually, we celebrate every day of the every month with new festival and celebrations. It is a great feature of our Indian land that we celebrate every day with the purity, sanctity of our motherland. Dear friends, you are listening. Bhaiya Dooj symbolizing the deep affection between brothers and sisters, is celebrated on the second day of the bright fortnight of Kartik, which falls on the day next to Govardhan Puja. The married women invite their dear brothers to their respective homes, apply turmeric or sandalwood tilaks on their foreheads, tie a colored thread around their right wrist, pray for their prosperity and longevity, and then feast them on sweets and other delicacies. In return, they receive valuable gifts. Unmarried girls do so at their parents' home. Unmarried girls do so at their parents' home. Bhaiya Dooj is also called the Yama Dvitya because this day also symbolizes the deep affection between Yama and his sister Yami. Sisters pray Yama for their brothers' longevity, good health and happiness. Observe strict fast. The sun-born Yamuna, sister of Yama, is also worshipped on this day. Chhat Puja, festival of the sun god. Chhat Puja is an Indian Thanksgiving festival dedicated to the sun god. During the celebrations of Chhat Puja, people gather on the banks of the river Gangas to bath in its sacred water, pray and make ritual offerings to the sun god. Chhat Puja is a highly elaborate festival noted for its impressive display of colorful costumes, music, singing, and extravagant rituals. A week after the festival of lights, Diwali is the Chhat festival. For one full night and day, the people of Bihar literally live on the banks of the river Ganga when a ritual offering is made to the sun god. The word Chhat denotes the number 6, and thus the name itself serves as a reminder of this auspicious day. On the festival almanac, the venue for this unique festivity is the river bank, and since the river Ganga traverses the countryside of Bihar like a lifeline, it is but appropriate that the rising and setting sun, as witnessed on the banks of this river, should be the ideal prayer propitiation locale. With no temples to visit or house to spruce up before the festival, one would conclude that Chhat Puja or prayer ritual would be an easy sail through. But that proves misplaced euphemisms, for the ritual observances of this occasion would make a medieval Franciscan order appear frivolous. Adult married women of the household become shining examples of what they set out to preach. There is complete abstinence from performing household chores. As younger women and women, children are encouraged to take over these mundane tasks. Thus shielded from profanities, they begin a thorough spring cleaning of the kitchen fire and the pans that would be used to prepare the prasad or food offerings to the sun god. The usual kitchen chula with the telltale marks of split over food are removed by a meticulous application of liquid cow dung and clay. The frying pan, cooking wok, and the ladies are purified with a brisk cleaning with coconut husk and ash till they shine as silver. It is the boundary of the harvest which is deemed a fit offering for the solar deity. Newly pounded rice is soaked and made into a paste. Dry fruits, nuts and silvers of coconut are used as garnish, and the cooked lump is then rolled in the palms into hardened laddus. Wheat flour becomes the main ingredient for the traditional cake, locally termed as Thekua or Thekua. Then on the eve of the 6th day, the excitement mounts to a solemn crescendo. Instead of the usual laughter accompanying the previous Deepavali festival. This time it is sacrilegious to crack a joke or even make a chance remark as the processional walk to the riverside leaves the doorstep. Children are warned of dire consequences then and there. In case any one of them has the slightest inclination, a high-pitched sing-song of hymnal sounds marks the start of this journey, and what began as a trickle from the doorstep becomes a surging crowd of devotees as one nears the river banks. No one tells the hour of prayer or performance, but magically the procession is timed to an accuracy that would be the envy of a drill sergeant. The men in the procession are bare chested and seem not to feel the nip in the chilly November air, which gets more marked as the breeze becomes cooler near the approaching waters. The lead figure for every group carries a basket of bamboo leaves. It is held high above the crowd's heads for fear of it being profaned by the chance touch of a passing stranger, and thus an unworthy offering to the mighty giver of light. Within it are the laddus, the kuvas, and of course the fruits of the season, the coconut in its surround of coir and shell, a bunch of bananas, an orange or two, and always an earthen lamp, smothered in cotton cloth, dyed in turmeric are the unchangeable contents. At the river bank, the fading light of the evening sun makes one mind one's step. No one can afford to let slip or falter. No one can afford to let slip or falter, as that would mean an evil portent. But since the shallow bank stretches endlessly, there are really in no reason to push or jostle. The low-lying edge of the waters is slippery as the soil is alluvial, but the rows of country boats, all geared to take passengers and offerings midstream in comparative safety, make the task easier. Then, as the western sky of early winter turns rosy, the scene is a concerted vision of devotion as countless upstretched arms hold aloft the glistening bamboo trays and baskets. The wheeled oil lamps are gently glowing, and a choirs of hymns rings the air. The minutes pass, a gloom descends, and the faces become blurred as the crowds walk back along the narrow path leading away from the riverfront, having paid homage to the setting sun. The next day, one must make ready for the daybreak obeisance. This is the crucial part of the ritual, and the journey towards the river begins when not even the slightest hint of sunlight is visible. It is a mahogany dark sky outside as the festival falls during the dark phase of the moon. One can tell when the river bank is near from the smell of dew-soaked grass, and the inky waters can only be decoded by the sound of a soft lapping. This time the faces turn eastwards, and instead of just standing on the river bank, they enter the water for the customary holy dip. In the meantime, the precious baskets are left securely under a temporary canopy made of freshly harvested sugarcane stalks. The four-sided platform is specially made with its corner decorated with terracotta lamps shaped like elephants or birds. The accompaniment, the accompaniments of sandalwood paste, vermilion, wet rice, flowers and fruits covered with red dyed cotton cloth to ward off evil designs and spirits add the right note of sanctity. The priest in the medley of worshippers readily obliges devotees with chanting and prayers as the families stand around their altar with folded hands, closed eyes, and devoted hearts to offer their prayers to the giver of all life in the world. Once the first streaks of light appear on the horizon, men and women dressed in their saris and dhotis, loincloths, plunge into the shallow waters. Having found a foothold and completely oblivious of the chilling waters, they begin the timeless mantra of the Rig Veda, especially to the sun, the Gayatri mantra. It is this unquestioned faith, a reminder about the basics of human existence, a conscious upkeep of the environment in its benevolence and bounty that becomes integral to the currency of living and believing. Place of Chhat Puja celebrations. Chhat Puja is celebrated mainly in the northern regions of the Indian state of Bihar. The festival takes place on the banks of the river Ganga, in homes and at the Sun Temple of Bargaon, who 2 kilometers outside Nalanda in Bihar. Chhat Puja is also celebrated in Varanasi in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Deepavali. Deepavali, or the festival of lights, is an important and most popular festival celebrated throughout the country in one form or the other. It falls on the last day of the dark half of Kartik, October to November. As a matter of fact, it is a 5-day long festival, but the main celebrations take place on the day of Deepavali. Deepavali, which leads us into truth and light, is celebrated on a nationwide scale on Amavasya, the 15th day of the dark fortnight of the Hindu month of Ashwin, means October or November. Every year it symbolizes that age-old culture of our country, which teaches us to vanquish ignorance that subdues humanity and to drive away darkness that engulfs the light of knowledge. Deepavali, even today in this modern world, projects the rich and glorious past of our country and teaches us to uphold the Sanskrit word Deepavali, Deepa meaning light and Avli meaning a row, means a row of lights, and indeed illumination forms its main attraction. Every home, lovely and mightily, the hut of the poor or the mansion of the rich is alight with the orange glow of twinkling diyas, small earthen lamps to welcome Lakshmi, goddess of wealth and prosperity. Multicolored rangoli designs, floral decorations, and fireworks lend grace and grandeur to this festival, which heralds joy, mirth, and happiness in the ensuing year. This festival is celebrated on a grand scale in almost all the regions of India and is looked upon mainly as the beginning of new year. As such, the blessings of Lakshmi, the celestial consort of Lord Vishnu, are invoked with prayers. Even countries like Guyana, Thailand, Trinidad, and Malaysia celebrate this festival but in their own ways. What is the history of this festival? Deepavali is associated with several legends. One myth says that on this auspicious day, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and good fortune, roams about and visits the house of people. Therefore, people tidy up their homes, establishments, and shops and decorate them lavishly to welcome the goddess. In the night, she is worshipped with great devotion. It also commemorates the triumph of Lord Rama over Ravana and Rama's return to Ayodhya. It is also on this day that Krishna killed the demon Sura. Celebrations. A few days before the festival, the houses are completely cleaned and painted. The country yards, the gates, and the places of worship are decorated with bandanwars, flowers, intricate colored paperwork, and at night, every nook and corner of the house is and fireworks are displayed till on the day of Deepavali. People get up early in the morning, clean their home, and after the completion of daily chores, attire themselves in their best clothes and move round freely in the atmosphere of gaiety, mirth, greeting, and festivity. Lots of sweets are prepared and exchanged along with greetings. On this occasion, people ask for each other's forgiveness for the wrongs done knowingly or unknowingly, and mutual relations are re-established and strengthened. Thus, all enmity is forgiven and forgotten, and people embrace one another. At night, Lakshmi, along with Ganesh, is worshipped, and in business, old accounts are closed and new ones are opened. People throng the bazaars. People throng the bazaars and streets during the night in order to watch and appreciate the illumination. Special shops and bazaars are also set up on this occasion, and there is brisk buying of sweets, utensils, clothes, jewelries, toys, etc. Deepavali also marks Deepavali also marks the advent of new season and the sowing of new crop seeds. The new Vikrama era begins on this day. The famous king Vikramaditya, after whom the era is named, was crowned on this day. In Bengal, Kali is worshipped with great fervor and devotion on this day. The Jains celebrate Deepavali as a day of final liberation and moksha of Lord Mahavira. Similarly, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, the founder of the Arya Samaj, attained salvation on this day. The great Swami Rama Tirtha, the great Swami Ram Tirtha also entered his final Jal Samadhi on this tithi at great Jain shrines like that of Pavapuri in Bihar and Girnar in Gujarat. Special puja festivals are held. Sacred scriptures read and recited, and Lord Mahavira worshipped. Thus, this great festival of lights symbolizes man's urge to move towards light of truth from darkness of ignorance and unhappiness. Devuthani Ekadasi. Vishnu slumbers for 4 months from the 11th day of the bright half of Ashad, means June to July, till the 10th day of the bright half of Kartik, October to November, and then he gets up on the 11th day, which is known as Devudhani Ekadashi. During these 4 months, all other gods sleep, and so auspicious ceremonies like marriage, thread ceremony, etc. are not performed. Celebrations. On this day, ladies observe fast, worship Vishnu, and sing hymns in praise of various gods and goddesses around a cow dung cake fire. It also marks the beginning of eating the new agricultural produce of the season, especially sugarcane and water chestnuts. It is an important rural festival and is observed with much gaiety and festivity in the countryside. From this day onward, marriages etc. can be, it marks the beginning of the auspicious time for ceremonies. It is believed that, tired after killing the great demon Sanksura, Vishnu went to sleep for a period of 4 months and the other deities followed suit. Dhanteras. 2 days prior to Deepavali, on the 13th day of the dark half of Kartik, Dhanteras or Dhanvantri Triyodasi is observed with great mirth and gaiety. Dhanvantri, the physician of gods, who appeared as one of the several precious entities at the churning of the ocean, is worshipped on this day, especially by the physician community. He is the father of the Indian medical science and Ayurveda is attributed to him. He is also called Sudhapani because he appeared from the ocean carrying nectar in his hands. People get back early at dawn, cleanse themselves, put on new attire and observe fast. In the evening, an earthen lamp is invariably lit in front of every house and the fast is broken. New utensils are brought on the day because it is regarded very auspicious. Durga Puja, Navratra. Navratras are observed twice a year. Navratras are observed twice a year, one in the month of Chaitra, preceding Ram Navami, and then in Ashwin September to October, preceding the Shera. This 9-day Navratra commences with the new moon of Ashwin and terminates with Mahanavami on the 9th lunar day of the bright half of the month. During these 9 days, devotees keep strict fast and worship Durga. The style of observing Navratra in different parts of the country may be different, but its sole aim is to propitiate Mother Durga and to seek her blessings. What is the history behind it? Dear friends, it is believed that in the ancient times, a demon called Mahishashura earned the favor of Lord Brahma. After long meditation and prayers, Shiva blessed him with a boon that no man or God would be able to kill him. Then Mahashashura started killing people mercilessly and even drove the gods out of heaven. The gods complained to Shiva, who opened his third eye with anger and concentrated the energy coming out of it to form a woman, and thus Durga, born riding a lion, she attacked Mahishashura and beheaded him. Procession on Pratipada, first lunar day of the bright half of Ashwin, an earthen pitcher filled with water, its mouth covered with green leaves, and an earthen lid is installed with invocation of Ganesh, the god of learning and wisdom, and then Durga is invoked. And ritually worshipped with durva grass, flowers, leaves, lamps, incense, new grains, raiments, etc. Barley seeds are also sprouted and ground in a pot on this occasion, and the same is worn in caps and ears on the final day. Unmarried girls below the age of 10 are also worshipped and given gifts during these 9 days. A clarified butter lamp is always kept burning before the installed pitcher during the celebration, and daily Durga Saptasati, Devi Bhagat Puran and Devi Mahatmya section of the Markandeya Puran are recited. Celebration in Bengal, Durga Puja is celebrated with great excitement and festivity, and huge puja pavilions or pandals with an idol of the 10-armed Durga set up at various places. Durga, the beautiful but fierce goddess, is shown riding the lion, killing the demon Mahishashura. In each of her 10 hands, she holds one of the goddess' special battle-related items. Vishnu discuss Shiva's trident. Varuna's conch shell, Agni's flaming dart, Vayu's bow, Surya's spear, Indra's thunderbolt, Kubera's club, a garland of snakes from shesh, and as a changer, as a charger, a lion from the Himalaya. A fierce battle raged between Durga and Mahashashura, but finally she killed him with the trident. Durga Puja surpasses all other festivals in Bengal in its popularity and mass appeal. During the celebration, music, dance, drama, and other entertainments are performed before the enthralled audience. The images of Goddess Durga are taken on the final day in triumphal procession from all corners, covering on the river where they are ceremonially immersed. Durga Puja is more than a ritual as it enriches the lives of people with a new enlightenment and produces a furious literary and artistic activity. It is believed that Durga visits her parents Himavan and Maina only during these days in a year. The final day marks the end of this brief visit when she leaves for Mount Kailash, the abode of her husband Lord Shiva. Ladies give an emotion charged and affectionate send off to Durga, and the ceremony is characterized with a daughter's departure to her husband's house. Popularity. Durga Puja is the most important festival in India. Durga Puja is more than a festival, it is a celebration of life, culture, popular customs, and traditions. It is a time of reunion and rejuvenation to love, to share, and to care. This festival provides a perfect platform to every Indian with rich cultural ethos and values to organize themselves under one roof. Durga Puja is an important Hindu festival celebrated all over India with great rituals and festivities. It is celebrated in the month of September or October. The excited festivity is omnipresent during Durga Puja throughout India, especially in the eastern part of India, particularly in West Bengal. The beautiful but fierce goddess on her lion is worshipped with great enthusiasm. Legends. Durga is the goddess of divine power against all evils. The story goes that Mahishashura, the buffalo demon, through years of praying, received a boon from Lord Brahma that no power can kill him, which means he is invincible. But on gaining this power, he started ravaging the whole world and killing people, and finally he wanted to uproot the gods too. All the gods and goddesses in dismay combined their powers to create a beautiful maiden, and each placed his or her most potent weapon in one of her 10 hands. With the help of such great powers in her hands, she killed Mahishashura. Riding a lion, her return in each year in the month of Ashwin, September to October, also commemorates Rama's invocation of the goddess Durga before he went into battle with Ravana. The traditional image of the Bengal Durga follows the iconographic injunctions of the Shastra. It is similar to the Durga of Ahole and of Mahabalipuram, 7th century. The tableau of Durga with Kartik, Ganesh, Saraswati and Lakshmi representing respectively the protector, the initiator of the puja, knowledge and the provider, signifies the complete manifestation of goddess. Complete manifestation of the goddess. Another legend has it that Lord Rama went to rescue his abducted wife Sita from the grip of Ravana, the king of the demons in Lanka. Before starting for his battle with Ravana, Rama wanted the blessings of Devi Durga. Pleased with Rama's devotion, Durga appeared before him and blessed him. The battle started on the Saptami and Ravana was finally killed on the Sandha on the Sandhikshana on the Sandhikshan etc. The cross war period between Ashtami and Navami and was cremated on Dashami. Since the period of this worship was different from the conventional festival time of spring or Basant, this puja is also known as Akal Bodhan. Akal Bodhan or worship means Bodhan in an unconventional time, Akal. One more view is that once the mother of Durga wished to see her daughter, Durga was permitted by Lord Shiva to visit her beloved mother only for 9 days in a year. The festival of Durga Puja marks this visit and ends with the Vijayadashmi day when goddess Durga leaves for her return to Mount Kailash. Rituals. Durga Puja is basically a festival with a series of rituals and puja. The making of Durga idols is also governed by rituals. The elemental ritual which is most commonly followed is that the ingredients that are used to make the idol of goddess Durga must come from the holy river Ganga. The idol of Durga is generally flanked by the idols of Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kartik and Ganesh. The image of Durga is positioned at the center and the background behind the whole group is called the Chalchitra. The goddess sits atop a lion, which is her Vahan. The favorite tableau is of her stabbing Mahishasura the demon. It symbolizes the victory of goddess over evil. It is celebrated in different parts of India in different styles, but the basic aim is to propitiate Shakti, the goddess in her aspect as power, to bestow upon man all wealth, auspiciousness, prosperity, knowledge and all other potent powers. Traditional and household Durga Puja festivities last for 10 days, but the main ritual of Durga Puja spans a period of 4 days. Devi Paksha. Devi Paksha is the name given to the fortnight from the new moon till the next full month. Till the next full moon. This is the most propitious time for performing holy rites. The ritual of drawing the eyes on the image of the goddess is called Chakshudan. Chakshudan, symbolizing the process of infusing the image with the power of vision, is done on the day of the new moon. The main puja starts from Sasthi, which is the 6th day after the new moon. On Saptami, the image of the goddess is infused with life. Early in the morning, the pran of the Devi is put inside the image after it is brought from a nearby river through the medium of a banana plant. The banana plant, Kolabu, bathed and draped in new yellow saris, resembles a newly wed bride. Ashtami is universally accepted as the culminating point of the 4-day celebrations. It was on this day that Durga had killed Mahishasura. The ritual of Sandhi Puja marks Sandhi Khan, the juncture between Ashtami and Navami. The main attraction of Navami is the Maha-Arti held in the evening. On Dashami, the image is Bijoya is a special ritual whereby peace, good relations are reaffirmed. Families exchange sweets and people embrace each other, vowing brotherhood. Bijoya continues till the next new moon when Kali Puja is held. Fairs and festivities. Durga Puja has transcended geographical boundaries and reached every corner across the globe. The 4-day fair has become an indispensable part of everyone's life in India. It is one of the biggest festivals in Bengal. Durga Puja is celebrated on a mass scale with puja pandals dotting nearly every corner of West Bengal. Community pujas in Bengal are organized in every locality. On the final day, the idols are taken in elaborate processions to be immersed in the river or the pond. Such is the charm and seduction of the occasion that several big community pujas in the city are being sponsored by multinational companies and commercial firms. The inauguration starts on Maha Shashishti. The main puja is for 3 days. Maha Shaptami, Maha Stami and Maha Navami. 3 days of mantras and slokas and arti and offerings. Needs an expert priest to do this kind of puja. Because of these facts, the number of pujas held in the family with reduced and Durga Puja has mostly emerged as a community festival. The city of Calcutta takes a different look during these 3 days. Especially at night, millions of people come to the city and line up before the pandals. The streets are lighted and the electricians display different kind of light shows. The restaurants are packed and numerous temporary food stalls are opened throughout the city. Schools, colleges and offices remain closed during these 4 days. After the 3 days of puja on the Shami, the last day, the locality and finally are immersed in a nearby river or lake. People Bengal all over the world celebrate this great event of their culture. In West Bengal's neighboring state Odisha, the festivals of Durga Puja is celebrated in a similar manner, especially in the city of Cuttack. A large number of idols of Durga and Mahadev are worshipped in profusely decorated pandals. Life comes to a standstill in the city as crowds pour into the puja pandals to enjoy the festivities. On the day succeeding Vijayadashmi, the last day of the Shera, the images are taken in a spectacular procession for immersion in the river Katha Jodi. Folks on Bengal. History of Durga Puja dates back to Mughal era. According to historians, the first puja was organized by Raja Kangsha Narayan of Teherpur, Nadia, and then Raja Jagat Narayan of Bahaduria followed soon after. Other Hindu kings too came forward and the puja spread far and wide to Ghosh, Raz, Mahal, Murshidabad and Krishnanagar. By middle of 18th century, this festival had become the occasion for the Navami Novi Riche Babus of Kolkata to flaunt their wealth. They invited Europeans every evening to grace the occasion. The British too participated in enthusiastically and had prasad and did pranam, often lying prostrate on the ground. Some believe that the puja of Subornu Chaudhuri Chaudhuru is the oldest in the city, started in 1610 near Behala Shekher Bazar area. Second oldest in that of Govindram Mitra of Kumarthuli, which started in the early 1880s. Next, renowned in that Sobzar Razbar, but gradually collective enterprise replaced the individual initiative. It was in 1790 that 12 Brahmin friends in Guptipara, Hooghly decided to institute community puja. Subscriptions were raised from neighbors. Thus started puja in Bengal, which gained popularity by leaps and bounds. Sarbozen Durgotsav, as we know it today, started off much later in Kolkata in the 1920s with Shimla Bayama Shamiti and Bagh Bazar being the earliest. At present, hundreds of pujas are held in the city's lanes and bylanes. But Rajaram Mohan Rai was the pioneer who promoted the idea of Durga Puja all over India in pre-independence era. Yet over the years, the ritualistic aspect has been reduced to a large extent in the community pujas. The accent is clearly on crowd pulling capacity. Earlier, pandals would be draped in the colored cloth spread over tarpaulin held up by a bare framework of bamboo poles. Gradually, it was the turn of the much brighter halogen lamps. Now, of course, there are metal lamps. Innovative pandals takes the cake in terms of generating visitors' volume. The Shehra. Dear friends, you are praiseworthy and admirable. As you are listening, our Indian land is the land of festivals. Time to time, we celebrate numberless festivals. Every day is also celebrated in India as the day of festival. The Shehra or Vijay Dakshami is a very popular Hindu festival celebrated with eclat throughout the country. It is observed on the 10th day of the bright half of Ashwin, September to October. Celebrations. It is a 10-day celebration during which Ram Leela, based on the epic story of Ramayana, is staged at various places in most of the cities and towns in northern India. With elaborate rituals, it presents a fine blending of music, dance, mime and poetry before an enthusiastic and religious audience, sharing every event of the story with the actors. History and significance. Struggle between the forces of good and evil and eventual victory of the former over the latter is the basic theme of the Ramayana. Rama symbolizes the best in humanity and the Ravana the evil forces. The Shara in Sanskrit means 10 sins, which are represented in Ravana's 10 heads, and Rama destroys them. Ravana abducted Sita with the help of another demon named Maharicha. He kept Sita in the Ashoka grove and persisted in making her his wife, but Sita always thought of her husband Rama. Rama sent his messengers to Ravana and asked him to return Sita, but the evil-minded Ravana refused to do so. Rama set off for Lanka with Sugriva, Hanuman, Angada, Jambavan and hundreds of other mighty monkeys. Ravana's younger brother Vibhishna, a noble soul and devotee of Lord Rama, however, took refuge under Rama. Rama built a causeway across the sea to carry him and his forces across the sea. Rama, along with his young brother Lakshmana, killed all the demons and their king Ravana and regained Sita. Finally, they returned to Ayodhya in the Pushpak Viman procession. On this occasion, huge effigies stuffed with brilliant fireworks are raised at various open grounds and set to fire by the one performing the role of Rama. The effigies are of Ravana, his brother Kumbhakarna and son Meghnadha. This marks the culmination and termination of the celebrations. Elaborate and gorgeous procession depicting various scenes of the Ramayana in the form of tableau are taken out through bazaars and main streets. Apart from all this, Ram Leela is also performed as a dance drama by professional troops. The Dussehra festival held at Mysore is one of the India's most colorful phenomena. This spectacular procession taken out on this day is a veritable extravaganza. The colorful Dussehra fair and festival of Kullu. The colorful Dussehra fair and festival of Kullu is also very famous. Among the Ram Leelas, the one staged at Varanasi is worth seeing. Celebrations on this auspicious day, Lord Rama is worshipped, prayed and meditated upon to obtain his blessings and favor. In olden days, the kings used to march their forces against their enemies every year on this day. The day Rama routed Ravana, mithai, fruits, batasas, etc. are served as prasad. On this auspicious day, Lord Rama is worshipped, prayed and meditated upon to obtain blessings and favor. Kullu Dussehra. While Dussehra is celebrated with great enthusiasm and fervor by burning effigies of Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Meghnadha in various parts of the country, the unique Dussehra in the Kullu town of HP, Himachal Pradesh, is a festival with a difference devoid of such features. Conclude in other parts of the country, and all activities revolve around the presiding deity Lord Raghunath Ji. The entire Kullu town, especially the sprawling Dholpur Maidan, which is converted into a temporary abode of Lord Raghunath Ji, vibrates celebrations with a strong blend of religious faith. The festival begins with the arrival of the image of goddess Hidimba from Manali and about 200 local devtas, accompanied by a host of attendants who reach the venue in colorfully decorated palanquins to pay homage to Lord Raghunath Ji. The image of Lord Raghunath Ji is brought from Sultanpur temple located in the palace of erstwhile Raja of Kullu and taken in a procession. All the local devtas join the procession and devotees pull the ropes of flower bedecked chariot of Lord Raghunath Ji, as it is considered auspicious and brings fortune and prosperity. There is no Ramlila or burning of effigies of Ravana, his brother and son, but 5 animals are sacrificed on the last day at the banks of Bias river as Lanka Dahan. Burning of Lanka was performed on the same day. The goddess Hadimba returns to her abode Manali after Lanka Dahan, and Lord Raghunath Ji also returns to the temple. The local devtas also leave Dhalpur for their respective villages as the curtain falls on the festival. The festival has been declared an international event by the state government, and colorful cultural program by local, state, national and international troops mark the evenings, while the religious faith and devotion of people add serenity to the festival during morning hours. Mirth and excitement mark the evenings. In spite of all the joy and excitement, what the festival is today, its origin comes spacked by the act. According to the famous legend about Kullu Dusera, a former ruler of Kullu, Raja Jagat Singh had once gone on pilgrimage to Manikaran and was wrongly told that a local Brahmin Durgadat had a hoard of fine pearls. He sent his man to ask Dutt if he would sell some of the pearls. When the Brahmin said he had no such pearls, the king's men started beating him, and to escape the rain of blows, the Brahmin said he would give the pearls when the Raja returned from Manikaran. When the king returned, his men again went to the Brahmin, who locked himself and his family in the house and set it ablaze. When the house was engulfed by flames, Dutt climbed to the roof and started inflicting wounds on his body with a sharp-edged knife. You want pearls? Here are the pearls, he cried, and threw pieces of flesh from his body. Raja Jagat Singh, who watched the horrible scene, lost his peace of mind after some time and was not able to perform his duties. Later a holy man met him and advised him that the only way to get relief was to get the image of Lord Raghunath Ji from Ayodhya and worship it. Satisfied with Raja Jagat Singh's remorse, the holy man sent one of the disciples to Ayodhya to bring the image of Lord Raghunath Ji. On arrival of the image, the Raja and his family paid homage to the deity, and he declared that henceforth it will be the righteous rule of Raghunath Ji in the kingdom, while he and his descendants would only act as regents. Dear friends, time and again we admire and appreciate the presence of Lord or God everywhere. In air, fire, soil, sky and water, we feel the presence of Lord. Even in absence of these 5 elements, we feel the presence of Lord. Swami Vivekananda, who proved, advocated and appealed to the worldly people in that religious conference where it was held in the USA in 1893, by presenting his celestial word, my brothers and sisters of the America. These words created upheaval in the minds of people who were present at that time. Now, today, we celebrate every day with full of festivities, enjoyment and entertainment. This is also the presence of the thoughts of Swami Vivekananda, who filled us with his energetic ideas and thoughts. Dear friends, today is the time of celebrations. First day of Navratra has been started, as our present Prime Minister addressed to the worldly people yesterday in Man Ki Baat. By saying that our country, which is a multi-linguistic and multiculturalistic country of the world, it is beyond to define in praise of our nation. Dear friends, as you have studied Bacon's essays, students of English literature, those who are listening, Bacon, who is known as the father of essays, described, explained every concept of study, travel, revenge, truth, of wisdom for a man's self. Studies serve for delight, for ornament and for ability. Their chief use for delight is in privateness and retiring, for ornament is in discourse, and for ability is in the judgment and disposition of business. For expert, men can execute and perhaps judge of particulars one by one, but the general counsels and the plots and marshalling of affairs come best from those that are learned. To spend too much time in studies is sloth, to use them too much for ornament is affectation, to make judgment holy by their rules is the humor of a scholar. They perfect nature and are perfected by experience, for natural abilities are like natural plants that need pruning by study, and studies themselves do give forth direction too much at large, except they are bounded in by experiences. Crafty men condemn studies, simple men admire them, and wise men use them, for they teach not their own use, but that is a wisdom without them and above them, won by observation. Read not to contradict and confute, not to believe and to take for granted, nor to find task and discourse, but to wait and consider. Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. That is, some books are to be read only in parts, others to be read but only curiously, and some few to be read wholly and with diligence and attention. Some books also may be read by deputy and extracts made of them by others, but that would be only in the less important arguments and the meaner sort of books. Else, distilled books are like common distilled waters, flashy things. Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. And therefore, if a man writes little, he had need have a great memory. If he confer little, he had need have a present wit, and if he read little, he had need have much cunning to seem to know that he doth not. Histories makes man wise, poets witty, the mathematics subtle, natural philosophy deep, natural philosophy deep, moral grave, logic and rhetoric, able to contend, abound studia in a moral, abound studia in mores. Nay, there is no stone or impediment in the wit, but may be wrought out by fit studies, like as disease of the body may have appropriate exercises. Bowling is good for the stone and reins, shooting for the lungs and breast, gentle walks for the stomach, riding for the head. Wondering, let him study the mathematics, for in demonstrations, if his wit be called away never so little, he must begin again. If his wit be not apt to distinguish or find differences, let him study the schoolmen, for they are simony sectors. If he be not apt to beat over matters and to call up one thing to prove and illustrate another, let him study the lawyer's cases. So every defect of, if he be not apt to beat over matters and to call up one thing to prove and illustrate another, let him study the lawyer's cases. So every defect of the mind may have a special receipt of travel. Travel in the younger sort is a part of education. In the elder, a part of experience. He that travelleth into a country before he hath some entrance into the language, goeth to school and not to travel. That young man travel under some tutor or grave servant, I allow well, so that he be much a one that hath the language and hath been in the country before, whereby he may be able to tell them what things are worthy to be seen in the country where they go, what acquaintances they are to seek, what exercises or discipline the place yieldeth. For else young men shall go hooded and look abroad little. It is a strange thing that in sea voyages, where there is nothing to see seen, where there is nothing to be seen but sky and sea, man should make diaries. But in land travel, wherein so much is to be observed, for the most part they omit it, as if chance were fitter to be registered than observation. Let diaries therefore be brought in use. The things to be seen and observed are the courts of princes, especially when they give audience to ambassadors, the courts of justice, while they sit and hear causes, and so of consistories ecclesiastic, the churches and the monasteries with the monuments which are there in extent, the walls and fortifications of cities and town, and so the havens and harbors, antiquities and ruins, libraries, colleges, disputations and lectures, where any are, shipping and navies, houses and gardens of state, and pleasure, near great cities, armories, arsenals, magazine, exchanges, buses, warehouses, exercise of horsemanship, fencing training of soldiers, and the like, comedies, such whereunto the better sort of persons do resort, treasuries of jewels and robes, cabinets and rarities, and to conclude whatsoever is memorable in the places where they go. After all which the tutors or servants ought to make diligent inquiry. As for triumphs, masques, feasts, weddings, funerals, capital executions, and such shows, man need not to be put in mind of them. Yet are they not to be neglected. If you will have a young man to put his travel into a little room, and in short time to gather much, this you must do. First, as was said, he must have some entrance into the language before the goeth. Then he must have such a servant or tutor as knoweth the country, as was likewise said. Let him carry with him also some card or book describing the country where he travelleth, which will be good key to his inquiry. Let him keep also a diary. Let him not stay long in one city or town, more or less as the place deserveth, but not long. Nay, when he stayeth in one city or town, let him change his lodging from one end and part of the town to another, which is a great adamant of acquaintance. Let him sequester himself from the company of his countrymen, and diet in such places where there is good company of the native of the nation where he travelleth. Let him, upon his removes from one place to another, procure recommendations to some person of quality residing in the place whither he removeth, that he may use his favor in those things he desireth to see or know. Thus he may abridge his travel with much profit. As for the acquaintance which is to be sought in travel, that which is most of all profitable in acquaintance with the secretaries and employed men of ambassadors. For so in travelling in one country he shall suck the experience of many. Let him also see and visit eminent persons in all kinds, which are of great name abroad, that he may be able to tell how the life agreeth with the fame. For quarrels, they are with care and discretion to be avoided. They are commonly for mistresses, healths, places, and words. And let a man beware how he keepeth company with choleric and quarrelsome person, for they will engage him into their own quarrels. When a traveller returneth home, let him not leave the countries where he hath travelled altogether behind him, but maintain a correspondence by letters with those of his acquaintance with our are of the most worth, and let him travel appear rather in his discourse than in his apparel or gesture, and in his discourse let him be rather advised in his answers than forwards to tell stories, and let it appear that he doth not change his country manners for those of foreign parts, but only prick in some flowers of that he hath learnt abroad into the customs of his own country. Dear friends, next essay that you are listening from Francis Bacon. These are the milestones and landmark of Francis Bacon that are written from the knowledge, information, instruction and direction point of view of life. Of revenge. Revenge is a kind of wild justice. Which the more a man's nature runs to, the more ought law to weed it out. For as for the first wrong, it doth but offend the law. But the revenge of that wrong putteth the law out of office. Certainly, in taking revenge, a man is but even with his enemy, but in passing it over, he is superior, for it is prince's part to pardon. And Solomon, I am sure, saith, it is the glory of a man to pass by an offense. That which is past is gone and irrevocable, and wise men have enough to do with things present and to come. Therefore they do but trifle with themselves that labor in past matters. There is no man doth a wrong for the wrong's sake, but thereby to purchase himself profit or pleasure or honor or the like. Therefore, why should I be angry with a man for loving himself better than me? And if any man should do wrong merely out of ill nature, why? Yet it is but like the thorn or briar, which prick or scratch, because they can do no other. The most tolerable sort of revenge is for those wrong which there is no law to remedy. But then let a man take a heed, the revenge be such as there is no law to punish, else a man's enemy is still beforehand. And it some when they take revenge or desires, the party should know whence it cometh. There is the more generous, for the delight seemeth to be not to so much in doing the hurt, and as in making the party repent. But base and crafty cowards are like the arrow that fleeth in the dark. Cosmus, Duke of Florence, had a desperate saying against perfidious or neglecting friends, as if those wrongs were unpardonable. You shall read, saith he, that we are commanded to forgive our enemies, but you never read that we are commanded to forgive our friends. But yet the spirit of Job was in a better tune. Shall we, saith me, take good at God's hands, and not be content to take evil also, and so of friends in a proportion? This is a certain, that a man that studieth revenge keeps his own wounds green, which otherwise would heal and do well. Public revenges. Public revenges are for the most part fortunate, as that for the death of Caesar, for the death of Pertinax, for the death of Henry III of France, and many more. But in private revenge it is not so, nay rather vindictive person live the life of witches. Why? As they are mischievous, so and they infortunate. Dear friends, next essay of Francis Bacon. You are listening of wisdom for a man's self. An ant is a wise creature for itself, but it is a shrewd thing in an orchard or garden. And certainly men that are great lovers of themselves waste the public, divide with reason between self-love and society, and be so true to thyself as though be not false to others, especially to thy king and country. It is a poor center of man's actions himself. It is right earth, for that only stands fast upon his own center, whereas all things that have affinity with the heavens move upon the center of another, which they benefit. The, the referring of all to a man's self is more tolerable in a one prince, because themselves are not only themselves, but their good and evil is at the peril of public fortune. But it is a desperate evil in affairs man's hands. He crooketh them to his own hands, to his own ends, which must needs be often eccentric to the ends of his master or state. Therefore let princes or states choose such servants as have not this mark, except they mean their service should be made but necessary. But the accessory, that which maketh the effect more pernicious, is that all proportion is lost. It were disproportion enough for the servants' good to be preferred before the masters, but yet it is a greater extreme when a little good of the servant shall carry things against a great good of the masters, and yet that is the case of bad officers, treasurers, ambassadors, generals, and other false and corrupt servants, which set a bias upon their bowl of their own petty and enemies, to the overthrow of their masters' great and important affairs. And for the most part of the good such servants receive is after the model of their own fortune, but the hurt they sell for that good is after the model of their master's fortune. And certainly it is the nature of extreme self-lovers, as they will set a house on fire, and it were but to roast their eggs. And yet these men many times hold credit with their masters, because their study is but to please them and profit themselves. For either respect they will abandon the good of their affairs. Wisdom for a man's self is, in many branches thereof, a depraved thing. It is the wisdom of rats that will be sure to leave his house somewhat before it fall. It is the wisdom of the fox that thrust out the badger who digged and made room for him. It is the wisdom of crocodiles that shed tears when they would devour. But that which is especially to be noted in that those which are sui amenities sign reveille are many times, unfortunately, and whereas they have all their time sacrificed to themselves, they become in the end themselves sacrifices to the inconsistency of fortune, whose wings they thought by their self-wisdom to have pioneered. Thank you, dear friends. Those who are listening carefully, may God bless all of us. Nice to see you, nice to meet all you. Have a nice day.